In the endless stretches of the Andromeda cluster, where stars shimmered like scattered diamonds across the black canvas of space, there existed a station unlike any other. It floated in silence between two nebulae, its crystalline towers reflecting the light of nearby suns in colors no artist could replicate. This was the home of Leora, a being both mysterious and feared across countless galaxies. Leora was unlike any creature known to science. Her body was unique in a way that puzzled the most brilliant minds of the universe. She could not bond with any species, alien or otherwise. Attempts by botanists, xenobiologists, and even advanced bioengineers to study or communicate with her had ended in failure. Plants wilted when she touched them. Alien creatures shrank away, sensing something strange in her presence. Even the energy-based lifeforms that thrived on her station kept their distance, vibrating uneasily around her. From a distance, she seemed graceful and serene, moving through her crystalline corridors as if she were part of the station itself. But Leora lived a life of solitude, the weight of her anomaly pressing on her every day. She often wondered why she was like this, why the universe had shaped her in a way that no other being could comprehend. The station's walls were lined with translucent panels, revealing views of distant galaxies and the slow dance of orbiting moons. Leora spent hours gazing outward, letting the stars be her companions when no one else could. She had libraries full of knowledge, machines capable of creating any device she imagined, and a small garden of artificial flora designed to mimic life. But it all felt empty without a true connection. Every visitor who tried to approach her had left with a mix of awe and fear. Diplomats from the crystalline beings of Viridia tried reasoning with her. Scholars from the organic worlds offered gifts and experiments. Some even sang or played strange instruments to draw her attention. Yet every effort failed. Leora's body rejected them all. Not out of malice, but simply because her biology and theirs were incompatible. She could sense their intentions clearly, but she could not accept their presence in a way that felt natural. On one ordinary day, Leora was walking along the highest tower of her station. Her long, silver hair floated gently around her as she moved, catching the light in a way that made her seem almost ethereal. She stopped by the observation window, her violet eyes scanning the stars beyond. She felt a strange mixture of longing and resignation. How many more centuries would she spend like this? Alone, observed, but never truly touched. The silence was broken by the soft hum of the station's docking bay. Leora turned her head, noting a ship approaching a vessel of human design. It was small, agile, and unlike the sleek alien crafts she was accustomed to. The human ship glided gracefully into the docking bay, and a ramp extended, touching the crystalline floor with a gentle click. Leora had seen humans before, of course, but they were rare in this part of the cluster. They were curious, bold, and often unpredictable. Most species avoided them, believing humans to be reckless and unsophisticated. But Leora's curiosity was piqued. She had heard rumors of a human explorer who traveled the galaxies seeking anomalies like her. His name was Kai, and the stories suggested he was unlike anyone else. She watched as the ramp lowered fully, revealing him. Kai stepped out, tall and lean, his brown eyes scanning the station with quiet interest. Unlike other visitors, he did not rush toward her, did not make sudden movements that might alarm her senses. He simply observed, as if he already understood that this place, and its inhabitant, required patience. For the first time in centuries, Leora felt something different, a flicker of curiosity that was more than just scientific interest. There was no fear in Kai's presence, no expectation. He approached slowly, keeping his hands visible and his voice calm. "Hello," he said softly, his accent unfamiliar but not unpleasant. "I'm Kai. I've traveled far to meet you." Leora tilted her head, studying him. She could feel the subtle rhythm of his life force, steady and confident. And, astonishingly, she did not recoil. Not immediately. It was a sensation she had never experienced before, an openness that her body seemed to recognize instinctively. I am Leora," she said cautiously, her voice like the chiming of crystal bells. "Why have you come?" Kai smiled gently. I came because you are a mystery. And I believe some mysteries are meant to be understood, not solved. The simplicity of his statement surprised her. Most beings came with tools, experiments, or grand promises. Kai brought nothing but curiosity and respect. Leora felt a warmth in her chest she had not known she could feel. A subtle vibration of excitement, cautious but undeniable. Over the next hours, Kai moved carefully through the station, observing without touching, asking questions without prying. He marveled at the artificial gardens, the floating holographic archives, and the crystalline towers that defied physics as she knew it. Yet, no matter where he went, Leora's body accepted his presence. It was subtle, a quiet resonance she could feel deep within. A gentle acknowledgement that his existence did not threaten her. She had never reacted this way to anyone, not to Viridian diplomats with their translucent skin and intricate thought patterns, not to the Glavarians who communicated through pure light, not even to the energy beings who could shift shape at will. Humans were fragile in ways that frightened most species, yet Kai's presence was not frightening. It was grounding, almost comforting. As evening came, the light from the nearby nebula bathed the station in shades of pink and gold. Leora and Kai stood side by side, looking out at the endless void. "Do you feel it too?" Kai asked. His voice was quiet, almost hesitant. Leora did not answer immediately. She closed her eyes, letting the resonance of his presence wash over her. It was strange, unfamiliar, yet natural. I think I do," she admitted. "I've never felt this before, never with anyone." Kai nodded, understanding more than words could convey. Perhaps some connections aren't about biology. Perhaps some are about presence, about understanding. The hours passed, and they shared stories of distant worlds, of adventures across the galaxy, and of the loneliness that often accompanied brilliance. Leora realized that Kai did not pity her. He did not see her anomaly as a problem to fix. He simply accepted it, and in doing so, he was breaking barriers she thought unbreakable. That night, as Kai rested in a small chamber he had set up, Leora wandered to the highest point of her station. She looked out at the stars, feeling a quiet thrill she had not known in ages. The galaxy was vast, filled with countless mysteries. Yet here, in her sanctuary, something new had begun. Something extraordinary. And for the first time, she allowed herself to hope that perhaps, just perhaps, a being like her could finally find a connection that transcended species. A connection that was not about biology or technology, but about understanding, respect, and the gentle courage of a human heart. The stars outside twinkled as if acknowledging this silent revolution, and for Leora, the galaxy no longer felt quite so lonely. The morning sun of the Andromeda cluster bathed Leora's station in soft golden light. The crystalline towers gleamed like giant prisms, scattering colors across the floors and walls. Leora moved through the corridors with her usual grace, yet this morning felt different. The previous day had left a spark in her chest, a quiet curiosity that she had not felt in centuries. Kai was awake in his chamber, quietly observing the patterns of light filtering through the windows. Unlike other species who required elaborate tools and complex environments to live comfortably, humans were simple and adaptable. Kai had brought little with him: a few personal items, basic tools for exploration, and an eagerness to understand. This simplicity was refreshing to Leora, who was used to visitors arriving with complicated machines and endless demands. When Kai stepped out of his chamber, he moved carefully, his eyes taking in every detail, without overwhelming the space with energy or noise. Leora watched from a distance, feeling the same strange resonance she had noticed yesterday. Her body no longer tensed at the presence of another being. Instead, it seemed almost curious, like a flower turning toward sunlight. "Good morning," Kai said softly, bowing his head slightly in greeting. His voice carried warmth without expectation. "Good morning," Leora replied, her voice calm but still cautious. "You seem different from the others." I do not feel the usual resistance around you. Kai smiled. A small, easy expression that did not demand anything. Perhaps it is not difference that matters. Perhaps it is the way we approach each other. I am not here to take anything from you or change you. I am here to understand. Those words held a weight Leora had never expected. Most visitors came with an agenda, even the kindest ones. But Kai's presence was free of judgment or intent to alter her. For the first time, Leora felt she could breathe without fear, without the usual shield she maintained around herself. Over the next hours, Kai explored the station in his quiet, attentive way. He observed the gardens of artificial flora, noting the intricate patterns of each plant. He watched the floating holograms that displayed centuries of scientific records. But he did not touch anything without asking. He did not interfere. His movements were careful, yet unafraid. Leora followed him silently, noting how easily he adapted to her environment. Humans were unpredictable, yes, but not reckless. They had a flexibility of mind and body that allowed them to move through new spaces with grace, and somehow, in that very human way, Kai seemed to fit into her world without breaking it. By mid-afternoon, they found themselves at the station's observation deck. The nebula outside glowed in deep shades of pink and purple, swirling like liquid silk. Stars shimmered faintly beyond, distant but ever-present. "Tell me about yourself," Leora said, sitting on the edge of a crystal platform. Her violet eyes studied Kai. "Why do you travel so far from your home?" Kai sat beside her, careful not to crowd her space. "I travel because I am curious. Because the universe is full of mysteries, and some of them cannot be solved from a single planet. I want to see, to feel, to understand." Leora tilted her head. "And what do you hope to find in me? I am not like others. I cannot bond with any species. I am alone." Alone. Kai's gaze was steady. "Maybe you are not alone. Maybe some things are not about biology or species. Maybe some connections are about understanding, about presence, about patience." The words were simple, but their meaning was profound. Leora felt a warmth in her chest, a sensation she had never experienced. It was not fear or anxiety, nor was it the faint irritation that had accompanied every other visitor. It was calm, gentle, and unexpectedly pleasant. Over the next days, Kai and Leora established a routine. He would explore the station, ask questions, and make notes. She would guide him through her world, showing him how her machines worked, how the artificial gardens were designed, and how she had structured her life in solitude. They spoke of distant worlds, of histories and legends, and of the tiny joys that came from observation and reflection. Kai had a way of seeing things that Leora had never noticed. He marveled at the shimmer of her hair in the sunlight, at the delicate patterns of energy flowing through her station, and at the subtle rhythm of life that pulsed through the crystalline structures. He noticed without interfering. He asked without judging. And in doing so, he created a space where Leora felt safe to be herself. One evening, as the twin moons of the nearby planet rose in the sky, Kai turned to Leora. "Can you feel it?" he asked. "The way our presence interacts?" Leora closed her eyes, taking a deep breath. She could feel it. Yes. A gentle resonance, like two instruments in harmony. Subtle but unmistakable. Her body responded without resistance, without discomfort. For the first time in her life, she realized that a bond, though not physical, not biological, was forming. "I can feel it," she whispered. "But I do not understand why." Kai smiled. "Perhaps it is not something to understand, but something to experience. Some things cannot be explained. They just exist." As the nights passed, the bond between them grew. Kai shared stories of human worlds, of oceans, forests, and bustling cities. He spoke of small joys, watching a sunset, tasting a new fruit, hearing music. Leora listened, fascinated by the simplicity and depth of human life. Humans could experience joy in ways that transcended their size or technology. It was this quality, perhaps, that made them so remarkable. Leora, in turn, showed Kai the wonders of her station. She demonstrated how her crystalline walls could bend light into messages, how her machines could simulate weather from alien planets, and how her artificial garden could bloom in countless colors and shapes. Kai's excitement was genuine, unpretentious, and infectious. One day, while walking through a chamber filled with floating lights, Leora paused. "Kai," she said softly, "you do not seem afraid of me. Most beings are terrified when they feel what I am. Why are you not?" Kai looked around at the lights, then back at her. "I think it is because I see you, not the anomaly. I see you, not the problem. You are alive, Leora. And life is meant to be experienced, not feared." Her heart, though she had not realized she had a human-like heart, felt a strange tug. These words, simple yet profound, resonated in her very being. She had spent centuries alone, rejecting others and being rejected. Yet here was someone who saw her not as a puzzle, but as a being deserving of presence and understanding. As the days turned into weeks, Leora found herself laughing, something she had not done in centuries. Kai's humor was gentle, often self-deprecating, yet always uplifting. He did not force connection, but created it naturally through kindness and curiosity. Leora discovered that laughter, a simple human trait, could warm even her coldest fears. One evening, as the station floated silently among the stars, Leora looked out at the galaxy. The colors of distant nebulae reflected in her violet eyes, shimmering like a mirror of the universe itself. Kai sat beside her, quietly observing, as if the cosmos had shrunk to include only them. "I never thought I would feel this," Leora said softly. "I never thought someone could exist in a way that my body accepts." Kai reached out, placing a hand on the crystalline floor near hers, careful not to intrude. "Sometimes," he said, "acceptance is not about changing who you are. It is about being seen and respected. Perhaps humans are small, fragile, and simple, but maybe that is why we can resonate with the extraordinary." For the first time, Leora felt a glimmer of hope. The galaxy had always seemed cold, distant, and unreachable. But with Kai, it felt alive, full of possibility, full of connection. And as the stars shimmered outside, Leora allowed herself to imagine a future she had never dared to dream. A future where perhaps, finally, she was not alone. The galaxy, vast and silent, watched on, as if acknowledging the quiet beginning of a bond that could change everything, not just for Leora, but for all who witnessed the human spirit in action. Days turned into weeks, and the quiet companionship between Leora and Kai became something extraordinary. Their mornings began with observing the stars, mapping constellations, and sharing stories of worlds they had never visited. The station, once a silent sanctuary of isolation, now vibrated with subtle energy, the warmth of shared presence, the gentle rhythm of connection. Leora had lived centuries in solitude, her life a sequence of routines and experiments designed to understand herself while avoiding the galaxy. Yet now, with Kai, each moment carried an unexpected lightness. She found herself smiling more, speaking more freely, and even laughing, a sound that echoed softly through the crystalline towers, like the chime of delicate bells. Kai had a quiet wonder about him. He did not seek to dominate or change Leora, nor did he attempt to alter her environment. Instead, he observed, asked questions, and gently offered perspectives that made her see the galaxy in ways she had never considered. He was patient when she hesitated, joyful when she discovered something new, and humble when he learned from her. One afternoon, Leora led Kai to a chamber she called the Harmonic Hall. It was a vast room with floating prisms, each one pulsing with soft light and subtle sound. When the prisms moved, they created vibrations that resonated with the body, energy, and mind. Most species had found the experience overwhelming, sometimes painful. Yet, as she activated the room, Leora noticed something incredible. Kai stepped into the center and closed his eyes. The prisms began to move, their tones rising and falling in gentle waves. Leora watched as his body relaxed completely, his breathing steady, his presence harmonizing with the energy around him. And for the first time, she noticed that her own body responded in ways it never had. There was no discomfort, no rejection, only resonance. "This is remarkable," Kai whispered, eyes still closed. "I can feel the energy of the prisms, and I can feel it in you too. It's like we're in sync." Leora's violet eyes widened. She had never experienced a human being interacting with her environment so naturally, so perfectly. It was as if his very presence complemented her own energy. Her mind, which had always catalogued rejection and failure, struggled to process this new truth. Humans were not only accepted by her, they could enhance her experience of the universe. Over the next few days, they experimented with the harmonic hall. Kai's ability to adapt to Leora's environment amazed her. He could move with the energy, respond to the prisms, and even create subtle changes in vibration by intuition alone. No other species had ever accomplished this. Many had tried, but all had failed. "What is it about humans?" Leora asked one evening, as they sat on the observation deck, looking at the swirling colors of the nearby nebula. "Why do you not trigger rejection? Why do you fit in ways others cannot?" Kai considered this carefully. "Maybe it's because we are flexible. We are curious and willing to listen. We are patient. But more than that, maybe it's because we are small enough to notice and brave enough to care." Claude, Leora pondered his words. For centuries, she had thought her isolation was a curse, a barrier separating her from the rest of the galaxy. But now she realized it was not the universe that was rejecting her, it was a reflection of compatibility. And humans had an unexpected resonance. They spent long hours sharing knowledge. Leora taught Kai the patterns of the station, the science of her experiments, and the secrets of the artificial gardens that thrived under her care. Kai, in turn, shared stories of humanity, the joys of music, the simple pleasures of tasting new food, and the wonder of experiencing a sunrise on Earth. Each story seemed to plant a seed of inspiration in Leora's mind, broadening her understanding of connection beyond biology. One day, as they wandered through a corridor lined with glowing crystals, Kai paused. "Leora," he said, "your life is extraordinary. You've adapted to solitude, to centuries of isolation. But I think you are ready for more. The galaxy can accept you. Not everyone, but some beings, if they are brave and open, could resonate with you too." Leora shook her head softly. "I do not know. Most species fear me. Most cannot understand me. Even now, your presence feels unusual. I do not know if it is safe for anyone else to approach." Kai smiled gently. "It's not about forcing them to approach. It's about showing that connection is possible. Maybe one day, your experience can change the way the galaxy sees life, how it understands acceptance, presence, and respect." Amen, her heart, or what she felt as her heart fluttered. She had never imagined that her isolation could become a bridge, a lesson for others. The idea that humans, or perhaps anyone, could resonate with her without changing her, filled her with cautious hope. As days turned into weeks, the bond between Leora and Kai deepened further. It was no longer just curiosity or observation. It became companionship. They shared silent moments watching stars, spoken laughter and stories, and learned the rhythm of each other's presence. Leora found herself relying on Kai in subtle ways, for conversation, for perspective, and for the simple comfort of having someone nearby who did not frighten or overwhelm her. One evening, as the station drifted among a field of colorful cosmic dust, Leora spoke quietly. "Kai, I do not understand it fully, but I trust you. My body, my senses, they respond to you in ways they never have. It is strange, yet comforting." Kai placed a hand gently on the crystal floor near hers. "Trust is not about understanding everything. he said. "It is about being present, being patient, and respecting what is unique. That is why humans can connect with you. Not by force, not by strength, but by care." For the first time, Leora truly believed him. She realized that humans carried something rare in the galaxy, a combination of curiosity, empathy, and courage that allowed them to resonate with even the most extraordinary beings. And now, she herself was part of that resonance. Their bond began to ripple beyond the station. Though they were isolated, the subtle energy between them was perceptible in small ways. The artificial gardens seemed to bloom more vibrantly. The floating prisms of the harmonic hall pulsed with brighter light. Even the crystalline towers appeared to shimmer more fully, as if responding to the unusual harmony between Leora and Kai. The galaxy, silent and vast, was watching. And though no one else could yet perceive the resonance, Leora knew it was the beginning of something larger, an example that connection was not limited by species, biology, or form. One quiet night, Leora and Kai stood at the observation deck, gazing at a cluster of young stars forming in a distant nebula. The colors were mesmerizing, a tapestry of pinks, blues, and golds that stretched across the sky. "Do you see that?" Leora asked, pointing to the swirling clouds of gas and dust. "It is the birth of new worlds, new possibilities." Kai nodded, his gaze fixed on the nebula. "And just like them, we have the chance to create something new. A bond that no one thought possible. A connection that changes how the galaxy sees life." Leora felt a thrill of excitement. For centuries, she had lived with the weight of rejection, with isolation pressing on her like an endless night. But now, she glimpsed a dawn, one shaped by understanding, respect, and the quiet bravery of a human who refused to turn away. In the weeks that followed, their experiments in the harmonic hall became more ambitious. Kai learned to adjust his movements to enhance the resonance. Leora discovered that her own energy could flow differently when guided by human intuition. They worked together without words, at times, their actions perfectly synchronized. It was a dance of understanding. A proof that humans could connect with the extraordinary in ways no other species could. And through it, Leora discovered a truth she had long denied. Connection was not about similarity or biology. It was about empathy, curiosity, patience, and the courage to exist fully, without fear. As the stars of the Andromeda cluster twinkled in endless rhythm, Leora allowed herself to dream. Perhaps the galaxy could accept her. Perhaps humans, with their strange combination of resilience and wonder, were the key to breaking barriers she had never thought possible. And with Kai by her side, she knew that this bond, the first true connection of her life, was just the beginning. The station floated quietly among the stars, its crystalline towers reflecting the light of distant galaxies. Leora stood at the highest observation deck, her violet eyes tracing the spiral arms of a nearby nebula. The station had grown brighter over the past weeks, its energy seemingly in harmony with the subtle connection between her and Kai. Kai approached, carrying a small device he had built to measure energy flows. He did not hand it to her immediately. Instead, he stood beside her, silent, sharing the view. "The galaxy is full of possibilities," he said quietly. "Not all of them are visible yet, but some can be felt." Leora nodded. She could feel the resonance, the bond that had begun as a simple curiosity, now a deep, undeniable connection. It had changed her perception of life, of herself, and of the universe. For the first time, she did not feel isolated. She did not feel the constant weight of rejection. Over the past weeks, Kai had taught her something extraordinary. Humans could exist alongside the extraordinary without fear. They could respect the unknown, adapt to it, and even enhance it without trying to dominate. Leora had never encountered such presence. And now, she realized, it was not limited to humans. This approach could teach the galaxy a lesson in harmony and understanding. One morning, Leora activated the communication array of her station. She had never used it for contact with other species. Most attempts ended in fear, confusion, or rejection. But now, with Kai by her side, she felt courage she had never known. "Kai," she said softly, "do you think it is possible to show others that connection does not require similarity?" "See," Kai smiled. "I believe it is. We can show them that understanding is stronger than difference." Together, they sent a simple message across the cluster. It was not a command, not a demand. It was an invitation. An opportunity to observe, to learn, and to resonate not through force, not through replication, but through presence and patience. Within hours, responses began to arrive. A few small ships appeared at the edge of the station's orbit. Representatives of different species, curious and cautious, approached slowly. None of them carried weapons. None rushed forward. Instead, they observed, as if feeling out the resonance that had already begun between Leora and Kai. The first visitor was a small, energy-based being whose form shimmered like liquid light. In the past, Leora's presence would have caused it to fluctuate in pain, but now, guided by the subtle calm of Kai and her own growing confidence, the energy being hovered steadily, vibrating gently with the station's light. "I feel it." The being communicated through pulses of color. Something peaceful, balanced, acceptable. Leora's heart, or what she sensed as her heart, swelled. This was the first positive response she had ever experienced from another species. And it was not due to coercion or biology, but the quiet harmony they had created together. Other beings began to arrive, each representing a different corner of the galaxy. Some were tall and crystalline, some were fluid and shimmering, some even moved in ways that defied conventional physics. Yet all responded to the same resonance that Kai and Leora had nurtured. There was no fear, no pain, only curiosity, understanding, and a gentle openness. Over the next days, the station became a hub of peaceful interaction. Leora guided visitors through her harmonic hall, demonstrating the floating prisms and the energy flows that had once been overwhelming. Kai helped interpret subtle nuances, showing how human presence could harmonize with even the most extraordinary beings. One afternoon, as the twin suns of a nearby system cast golden light across the crystalline towers, Leora spoke to the gathered visitors. "I have lived for centuries without connection. My body rejected every species, every attempt at contact. I thought I was alone forever. But I have learned that connection is not about similarity. It is about patience, understanding, and respect. It is about presence, not force." The gathered beings pulsed, shimmered, and resonated in acknowledgement. None spoke in words they had not known before, yet all understood. Something fundamental had shifted in the galaxy. The old rules of connection based solely on biology or technology were no longer absolute. There was a new way, one that Leora and Kai had discovered together. Kai stood beside her, his presence steady and reassuring. "This is only the beginning," he said. "The galaxy will learn that humans, though small and fragile, have a unique gift. We can connect with the extraordinary, not by dominating it, but by being open to it." Leora felt a thrill of hope she had never known. For centuries, she had been an anomaly, a solitary figure observed and feared. Now, she was a teacher, not of technology or power, but of understanding, harmony, and the courage to exist fully without fear. As weeks turned into months, the station became a place of learning and peace. Species that had once feared her came to observe, to resonate, and to connect. Humans, through Kai, became ambassadors of a new philosophy. Connection through empathy, presence, and respect. The galaxy was slowly reimagining itself, one interaction at a time. One evening, as the nebula outside shimmered with brilliant colors, Leora and Kai stood on the observation deck. The station pulsed gently beneath their feet, a reflection of the harmony they had created. "Do you ever wonder," Leora asked softly, "how a single presence, one human, could change so much?" Kai smiled, his eyes reflecting the nebula. "I do not think it is about me. It is about the human spirit, the curiosity, the patience, the willingness to be present. It is about choosing to understand, rather than fear. And you, Leora, you were ready to accept it. That made all the difference. She nodded, feeling the truth of his words. It was not about biology. It was not about force or control. It was about being open, being present, and valuing the uniqueness of every being. Humans had shown the galaxy a path, and she had walked it with them. As the night deepened, the stars glittered like scattered jewels across the black sky. Leora felt a deep sense of peace. For the first time, she did not feel rejected. She did not feel alone. Instead, she felt connected to Kai, to the visiting beings, and to the universe itself. The galaxy was vast, but it was no longer cold and distant. Through the quiet courage of one human and the willingness of one extraordinary being to open their heart, a bridge had been built. The boundaries of species, biology, and tradition had begun to blur, revealing a new understanding of life itself. And in that understanding, Leora found something she had never thought possible: joy, acceptance, and the quiet thrill of belonging. Kai looked at her, his expression calm but full of warmth. This is only the start. Imagine what could happen if more humans traveled. More beings opened their hearts, and the galaxy learned to resonate in harmony. Leora smiled, her eyes reflecting the colors of the nebula. Then perhaps, finally, the universe is not so lonely after all. The station floated silently among the stars, a beacon of connection, curiosity, and hope. And as the galaxy watched, it began to change not through conflict or force, but through the simple, extraordinary power of understanding. Leora and Kai stood together, side by side, knowing that they had created something far greater than themselves. Something that would inspire generations, species, and worlds. A testament to the quiet courage of humans, the beauty of empathy, and the limitless possibilities of connection. And in the heart of the Andromeda cluster, under the watchful gaze of countless stars, the universe seemed to shimmer with possibility, an eternal reminder that sometimes the smallest presence could make the largest difference.